Hey guys, Dalton here from Real World Bass Fishing. Want to do this updated video for you guys to go more depth about the summer patterns that that people ask me about. And I usually get confused on this too. It wasn't until about a few months ago when I started going to my local tackle shop and I talked to this dude who's done some tournament fishing, and he's really helped me out. Here's what I can tell you guys. During summer, bass like to run deep or run into the thickest cover they can. Reason being is the water doesn't support as much oxygen, so the bass have to run deeper into I think it's called the stratosphere, where the water's cooler and the oxygen is thicker and more dense in there, so they can get more. Well, it's more oxygen down there basically. The big thing about bass is you're going to find bass everywhere. It's just, are they going to eat? One of the things I really tell people is, especially during summer months, keep in mind, guys, when we're in spawn, what do we usually do? We flip a plastic, we flip a jig, we get into the thickest of thick we can to try to get them out of there, and we fish that junk. With right now, especially here in Texas, we're about to hit summer in the hot months, so they're going to be running deep. We're in post spawn, so these bass are going to only come up and eat at certain times. So we're talking about early morning. So I'm going to say get out on the water by 5. If you're not out there by 5, you're missing out. And stay out there, if you can, stay out there about 8:30, 9. Or whenever you see the schooling stop. Another thing I really wanted to focus on is, guys, with color selection, now with summer coming, one of the things I like to do is base it on what the bait fish are doing. Are the bait fish spawning? Which bait fish is spawning? And that, and the color clarity will basically tell me, okay, this is what I need to throw. Well, the water clarity, it plays somewhat of a role for me, but not really. If it's darker water, I'm still going to throw a golden blade, white and chartreuse chatterbait. If it's clear water, I might throw a little bit thicker, a little bit darker water, probably a more natural bait. Because these harder baits don't follow the same rule as plastics do. With harder baits, most of them are going to be a reactionary bite. So any way you can get that reaction out of them to make them eat. For instance, I have a pole set up right now. I have a flipping jig, I have a swim jig, and I also have a chatterbait. The two poles I'm going to be using are my swim jig and my chatterbait. Why? Because the chatterbait is going to be really good, especially in the morning since it has that gold blade. The swimming jig is going to be real good, especially for when they get heavier, when you're throwing more open water. That's going to help. But in the same sense, open water, people can also tell you, man, you throw a deep running crankbait, you'll be fine. Get that reaction for them to bite. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if that depends on the cover that's there. If you got thick cover out in there, that bait's just going to get hung. Excuse me, it's going to get hung up in there. If you're throwing, if it's open water and there's like little to no grass in there, you're fine. You're completely fine. And most of the crankbaits now, you can just rip it out of that grass real quick. God, what else is there? I can throw deep running crankbaits, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of them. Because one thing I like to do is I like to keep my baits a little bit smaller, little more easy to manage. Not saying crankbaits aren't, but I've used them, not a huge fan of them. I won't throw, and my buddy will tell you, throw medium depth. Don't throw a deep running unless you're on a boat or you're on a ledge and it drops off about 30 feet, 19 to 30 feet, because that's the only way, because if you hit the bottom, yeah, that's good and you want to bounce it off the rocks, But you know, that bait wants, if you've got one of those really long bills, it wants to go deeper. So what? I'm trying to make sure I'm giving you everything, you guys. Trailers. Trailers are a big thing. You can either do the split tail or the paddle tails. The paddle tails are going to look more of a bait fish profile, and they're going to go up and down, so it's going to swim more. It's going to be more of a swim bait. So basically, these bass are going to see it as more of a meal, and they're going to be like, oh, oh my God, it's a bluegill, or oh my God, it's a shad. Wham! Whether versus, you know, like a curly tail lizard or a curly tail worm as a trailer, you know, it's going to have that action. It's going to be at what the hell is that, and eat it because it's reaction. They're just going to be at, oh my God, what the hell is that? I don't like it. I'm going to kill it. And they just eat it. They'll just eat it because they want it to stop. And that's what the big thing with like spinner baits and buzz baits are, is, you know, the reactionary bites. The buzz bait, I'm still trying to figure out what it actually does. The spinner bait, the blades look like a schooling bait fish, and it also gives that shine off, and bass react to it like, whoa, and they'll bite it. And you have different blades like willow leaf, Colorado, Indiana. I use Colorado, Colorado blades and willow leaf blades, gold and silver. And I also use buzz baits too, you know, but I don't, buzz baits are a different topic for a different time. You know, I'll get into those later. You know, the problem with, I'll get into it a little bit. You know, the problem with, that they have with spinner baits is like, you know, man, I've heard people throwing them in, you know, colored, clear days, but man, I can't do it. So those clear water days, so it's like, man, I don't know what to do. And it's like, well, let's try this. How about we get a jig and we put a blade on it, chatterbait or a bladed jig, and basically it bounces off the rocks. It goes, the newer ones, the rage tail, I believe it is, or the rage craw, whatever it's called, the one Strike King makes. It works really good, goes over rocks real easy. And that's the cool thing about it right now, guys, is take care of that, do it, find out what's going on. You know, there's multiple tools you can use, but the bass are going to tell you which one they want. You know, with chatterbaits, the cool thing I like is, you know, you can see the water disturbance come back, and you'll see a bass come up and start following it. You know, those big air pockets, those bubbles, you'll know they're there. They'll be, oh, look, there's one following it. And they'll just hit it too. So that's something to keep in mind too, guys. I've heard people say, well, you can use plastics, just Carolina rig it or drop shot it. That's true, but with me, I like to be more versatile. You know, one bait that I really like, catching a lot of fish is nice, but I like to catch big fish. So I like throwing jigs because, you know, it narrows it down. Those smaller fish, they'll bite it, but not as often as those big bass will. Because if there's a big bass hanging around, hammerhead's going to get him. And that's just some key tips. Just keep in mind, guys, I've heard some people say, well, wait, do these hard baits follow the same rule as plastics? You know, the darker the water, the darker the bait, the clearer the water, the more natural the bait. It depends who you talk to, yes and no. It's not as enforced because, you know, you don't know what these harder baits are more of a reactionary bite. You know, like chatterbaits, swim jigs, spinner baits, buzz baits, crank baits. They're all more of a rigs. They're more of a reactionary bite than they are a finesse bite. Your finesses are more towards like your swim baits, your flukes, your worms, your lizards, which there's nothing wrong with them. I've used those all the time. Love them. But, you know, when summer comes, you got to kick on that hunger strike. You got to kick up a school, because when one bites it, the others are looking around like, where'd that damn thing go? I saw him eat something. Where'd it go? So keep that in mind, guys. With that being said, this is Dalton. Thanks for watching Real World Bass Fishing. We'll catch you guys next.